Good morning, everybody, and happy Monday. Hope everybody's having a great week. Taking a look at it, what we're going to be talking about today is what you need to ask your clients and how to ask your clients in fact finding. Everybody does it a little different. There's a lot of things out there. You can call them fact finding sheets, investigation sheets, gathering sheets. That's what we're going to talk about today. Let's start out with the Shane Gibson quote, always be closing. That doesn't mean you're always closing the deal, but it does mean that you need to always closing on the next step in the process. Clients want to know what's going on, especially when it comes to fact finding. So we're going to go through fact finding, and then we're going to tell our clients what we're doing, kind of maybe even why we're looking at it. And what you're doing is closing throughout your whole sales process. So we're going to talk about how to do effective fact finding investigation. Every sales process, I do this all the time to people. I ask them, what have you sold in the past? And they say, I've sold cars, I've sold refrigerators. Last week was somebody who did books door to door. And I'm like, okay, what do you do? And we walk through the process. So of course they introduce themselves. They say, I ask them some questions and I present them my book. And then, I try to close them. I'm like, every sales process out there has that. In the introduction, of course, there's the who you are, the why you're calling, the with them, that kind of a process. Something kind of like, hey, John, thanks for taking my call. I'm the health insurance agent here. I'm giving you a call because you requested to be contacted. What I do is I save my clients about 15% on their health insurance. Does that sound good to you? Great, it does. The next thing is if they are ready to go, we jump right into the fact finding, the investigation. That's where you're going to ask your clients usage questions. One thing that I do, and what I recommend everybody does, is let them know what you're going to be doing. So humans have this weird tick in their brain that if something happens that is the unknown, they stop at the first instance of it, and that's where their mind sets. So if you start there and you go, hey, so how often do you go to the doctor? What are you going to do for your medical bills? What kind of thing do you have? They're saying, I get it, but why? We're always going to be that 5-year-old. So if anybody out there has that 5-year-old that sits there and goes, why? So this is what I do. I go, well, John, what I do here is I'm going to ask you a few questions about your health insurance needs. Together, we're actually going to customize a plan that will best suit your needs, and then we can make any changes. We can customize it as much as you want. But as long as you like what you hear today, we're going to go ahead and get you applied for that, okay? What did I say? Hey, I'm going to do some fact finding. I'm going to investigate what your needs are. And I'm going to put together a few different carriers for you and present it to you. If you don't like it, that's fine. I'm a broker. I'm free to work with. We can remove anything that you want. But if you like it, then we're going to go ahead and get you applied. Bam, the close. I literally said, this is what I'm going to do. So we ended with, guess what? I'm going to ask you questions. We're going to do some fact finding. I'm going to figure out your problem. I'm going to solve it. And I like to say today because I'm kind of an impatient person. So to accurately solve their problem, what we do, we are solution sellers, right? We need to do some fact finding. Here's one thing right off the bat. People go, I am the best at presenting a plan. You want me to present that short-term medical, $5,000, 100%? I will wow you. I'm like, great. Is that what your client needed? First off, this is where you should be spending most of your time. The sales process, introduction. We'll say it's 10% of your sales process. Presenting the plan really should be about 10%. And then at the end, the close should be less, but we'll say 10%. That means 70% of your time should be spent on fact finding, right? Keep in mind, if you're doing the best planned presentation possible and your client doesn't need it, you are doing actually the worst planned presentation possible because they don't care. So this is the most important part. This is where you're going to figure out what products that they need. This is also where you're going to figure out what supplements. Again, if you don't sell a lot of supplements, you're kind of doing your client a disservice because that's what they're actually going to use a lot of. They're going to use the short term there to go to the doctor, right? So they're going to care about the big stuff. They're going to care about the doctor visits. But that big stuff too, if they get injured, is that accident plan? Is that critical illness plan? They care about the ER. They care about those kinds of things. This is where we're going to figure out the right product. Keep in mind, first off, you want the client to do most of the talking. So let's loop this back a little bit. Think about a long, long time ago when you were dating. And if you still are, this might be a piece of advice for you. So you're sitting there dating and you go out and you're meeting up with the person and all you're doing is you're talking about how great you are, how great you are, how great you are. And you don't get asked back for a second. Why not? I'm a pretty awesome person. Because what's going on in the other person's mind? Why will they not shut up? I don't care. They haven't asked me anything about me. Fact finding is dating. You should be sitting there asking questions. So if you've been on a date too and you got asked back and you just keep asking questions about the person, asking, and you get asked back on a second date, why? What's going through the other person's mind? They're such a great listener. Keep in mind the client needs to do most of the talking here and you need to ask your questions open-ended. 2 types of questions in sales, closed and open. Closed would be when I want a yes, no response. And that's what you're going to do when you present the plan. Open-ended is when you do fact finding because I want you to tell me stories. I want to have something where I can relay it back. There will be 5 things I care about in my fact finding. So just to let you know right away, and we'll jump into each of them. So it's first going to be your current insurance situation. Second one's reason for you calling me. I give it the why. Your plan usage, the budget. Obviously, I do care about money. And the last one would be the start date. So why do you need to care, and why do you even care about their current insurance situation? And these need to be on your gathering sheet. Are they currently insured or not? Well, obviously, for currently insured, matters a ton for Major Med. Can they get insurance pretty easy? Did they select Cobra? What's their current insurance situation? I literally just asked someone, so, what's your current insurance situation? I shut up because I want them to talk, because I want to hear what is going on with that. It could be something like, I'm actually insured through my husband's work and it's so expensive, and here's why, blah, blah, blah. Now, during every part and everything they tell me, all 5 of these reasons, things that I'm going through, I'm going to do a technique I like to call hear it out, feed it back, and then I clarify. So you're currently insured through your husband's work and it's just really expensive. And they're going to say, oh, yeah. So I heard it out, which is me shutting up and listening. I fed it back, and then I'm going to clarify. So I need to get them to agree with me. So kind of like, yep, that kind of a thing. You're going to feel like you're a parrot. You're actually going to feel really stupid. Funny enough, on the other end, your clients aren't going to care. They're going to think that, oh, wow, he's such a great listener. So you hear it out, you feed it back, and clarify. The second is the reason why I call. I usually like to kind of bring out the pain points here. So I go, I know you've probably been looking around a bit online. So what about those plans that you found have you not liked? Just so I don't make that same mistake. Look how nice and kind I mean about that. What about those other plans that you've seen have you not liked? That should be where you put the emphasis. Why? Because I want to bring out the pain about those other plans. Yeah, so your husband's plan is expensive. Sure, that might be the reason why you're calling. But what out there have you seen, have you not liked, just so I don't make that same mistake? And that's going to give them the reason why they called. I was actually on your website and I found this one plan. It had a $5,000 deductible, 80/20 co-insurance, had beautiful co-pays. I'm just not sure it's the right plan for me. Oh, awesome. They're confused. Okay, so you're out there, you're looking at the website, some of those weird, confusing questions, and you want to make sure you get the best plan possible. Yep. Oh, yeah. Okay. Heard it out, fed it back, and clarified. Keep out that you want to bring out the pain point. So let's jump into the one that we actually talk about. So the current insurance situation, that should be pretty quick. Reason for the call, you want to get the why. A lot of people actually skip over that, funny enough. They jump right into usage. I love it when I hear that, because I'm like, why are they talking to you? Well, their plan's too expensive. No, why are they talking to you? The most powerful thing you can do is find out the why. Yeah, you're going to try to figure out the pain point. That's the whole point behind the usage, but find out the why, and that's actually going to make your whole sales process a little stronger. So let's get into the usage. When people are talking about the plan usage, there's usually a few things I like to talk about. The first one is going to be, is anybody on prescriptions? What is that going to tell you? Anybody who's going to be on this insurance package, do they take any prescriptions? Keep in mind, I'm not looking for anything like cold or flu. Why do I care about the prescriptions? Because that's actually going to tell me what do they have. Anything in the past that they probably have, if they have that high blood pressure, hopefully by now you're actually starting to learn your prescriptions so you can figure it out right away, and you can just write down what they have, like I'm on metformin. Okay, more likely diabetes. Just things like that as you're going through. The prescription question is actually going to be where you're going to find out about their pre-existing conditions. And if not, if you stop them, they're like, I'm not on any. Okay, I gotcha. So nobody has any pre-existing conditions on this plan, right? Nothing in the past 5 years have you guys gone to the hospital for, as far as that goes. This is when you're looking for their usage. A second one is going to be, okay, or how many times a year on average do you guys go to the doctor? And then just looking for a number on those. So you can kind of start digging them out. Why? Because if you find out I go to the doctor 10 times, I better have an awesome copay plan, add them on that fixed benefit because they are going to use it. So you start putting your plans together. So for prescriptions, maybe having to take a look at another prescription plan, like maybe Ally RX, maybe looking at a short term that provides some benefit. All of a sudden I jump into the doctor visits. I probably need to get them a fixed benefit. Oh wait, bam, I just found out that they have high cholesterol and they go in for that. Good, you're starting to get that. The last one that I find very powerful, and keep in mind what a lot of people do, and I'm not a big fan of, is they go through and they have this checklist. And this is a checklist, I'm not saying it's not, but they have a checklist as they are going through for this. And to your client, all of a sudden they're feeling like they're a number, not a person. This way I get to hear stories from them. Why? Because when I present my plan, mine's a little more of a story. That's why people buy from me. They love it. They love it. That's why people buy, because I'm able to tie things back from these questions here. Literally the plan usage questions. I go, so how many times in the past 10 years have you had over $1,000 in medical bills? This is when I'm going to find out about little Jimmy breaking his leg when he goes skiing. Or about Mark when he was painting the house and he fell down and broke his hip off of a ladder. Or, Susan when she was in the garden and all of a sudden one of the garden pieces of equipment blew up. I mean, just things like that. You know what I mean? $1,000 in medical bills in the past 10 years, and all of a sudden people will start telling me. And then anything scheduled in the future, because people may not understand. This is the area where I'm trying to figure out also what ancillary, what supplement products my consumer are going to get. If here in the past 10 years, they've never used insurance, you might be confident to go a little higher deductible, add that trio med in, make sure that they get that dental, and add in that critical illness. Anything scheduled in the future. So these questions need to be asked, and you don't have to go through and just pelt them with these awkward medical questions, because that's actually where people get a guard. So what I do, just try to talk about it, let them tell you stories. So you guys went twice, you had over $1,000 medical bills. What was that for? Make it conversational. Please make it conversational. Also, hear it out, feed it back, and clarify. Those are the important things. Now, here's one of the things I do in my head. So I'm going through here and I try to figure out, first off, do they have money or don't they? So I'm going to go through, my next question is literally going to be, what would be a realistic budget? And then you're going to get that little fight. Like, I don't want to tell you, I don't know, I'm not sure. What do you have? All the insurance in the world is not going to matter if you can't afford it. My job here is just to make sure you figure out what's affordable for you and I can stay within that range. So I go through my head and I go, do they have money or do they not? And that's going to kind of determine maybe which short term I'm going to go. As long as they are healthy, look at that, have money and they're healthy. They don't have money and they're healthy. As long as they're healthy, I'm confident I can do that short term, add a fixed benefit, or maybe on the no money side, just lead with that fixed benefit and of course add the supplements. If they have money and they are sick, I will always do what's right by my customer, right? So I will make sure that they get what they need. So I might do the Affordable Care Act, especially if they are sick and don't have money. The concept of sick, I'm talking more about like a critical illness, something a little more serious. So you kind of got to break it through. So I had to go through this little quadrant in my head. It's on my worksheet that I fill out as I'm talking to my customers, and I kind of circle what quadrant they're in, because sometimes it might be best for them to go to healthcare.gov and walk through that. Okay, so let's jump back to this. So plan usage 2, you're going through that, you circle it, and then you say, maybe I should really lead with more of a short term, or maybe I should lead with a fixed benefit. Why would I do each of these? So keep in mind, as you're going through and you find out that, maybe they don't go to the doctor a lot, or maybe they want to go to the doctor a lot, but they're not worried about the big what if. They're that young, healthy person, super confident. That's a fixed benefit client to me. Why? Because they're worried about everyday expenses. They want access to a doctor. They're looking for a long-term solution, because keep in mind, short terms, 3x4s, right? Even if they weren't that, if it's 12 months, it's done. Funny enough, fixed benefit plans have higher retention than short term. And a lot of times with fixed benefits, people, if they use it, actually like it. So they keep it. They can cover multiple people, more people with a smaller budget, and if they haven't had a lot of years over $1,000. Again, they're not on a ton of prescriptions. Well, with short term, if they're worried about the big what if they're not very well educated with insurance, keep in mind your fixed benefit customers have an idea about how insurance works. They do have that chronic condition, usually major med on that one, or they're worried about them. So maybe their mom has a chronic condition. We can work with that. And they've had a lot of years over $1,000. So kind of I go through that quadrant, then I figure out which one I want to lead with. Now with budget, usually try to say it nice. I can get you the best health insurance package in the whole world, but if I haven't kept it affordable, I really haven't helped you. So it's an affordable monthly budget range I need to stick within. And if I have to fight that one, I won't move forward personally. I know that sounds really odd. People say, I move forward all the time without a budget. I'm like, yeah, but I have ridiculously high retention. The reason why, because I don't move forward without a budget, because I need to keep it affordable. Because if they are only price shopping, when you come up to somebody who has a cheaper price, they're going to ditch you. Great, you wasted hours of your life. And if I have to fight the customer a little bit, I totally will. And then what day you're looking for their insurance to start. And then obviously with all these, I hear it out, I feed it back, and I clarify. Now, one of the biggest things I like to do, and at the end of it, is I do a huge summarization statement. I like to put everything back together. I told you this whole time, I am hearing it out. I'm feeding it back, I'm clarifying, I'm trying to get at least 2 stories out of them. And at the end, this is the most powerful part of fact finding, in my opinion. Before we get into all those insurance options, I just want to make sure I'm on the same page with you, just that I heard everything right. So you're looking for insurance today because it got really confusing. So to me, it sounds like you're looking for a plan and then I fixed the pain point. I kind of set up, a plan that's going to help you make sure you can go to the doctor, because little Timmy seems to go to the doctor quite a bit there. And anything that's going to cover you guys for when you have that accident, when Mark fell off the ladder. That's going to be actually starting on the 15th, and we're going to keep it below your budget about $550. Is that right? And I make sure to get a yes. They're like, okay, no, okay, I got the okay. I feel like I'm missing something. Is there something that I'm missing before I move forward? I just want to make sure I have everything together. I'm summarizing everything that they told me. A, they're going to think, dang, Dan is such a great listener. Second, they're going to say, whoa. You missed that point where I'm on this high blood pressure med and I want to make sure that gets paid for. I'm okay with that. I want to get all that wrapped up and I want them to feel comfortable. Well, what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to go through the plan options that I have here for you. If I have to make any adjustments, I absolutely can. But as long as you like what you're here today, we're just going to go ahead and get that application applied for. and I told them exactly what I'm going to do. That is kind of one of the powerhouses with this. We'll end here with a good one. So if you were born to win, but to be a winner, you must plan to win. Prepare to win and expect to win. We are working on that planning and expecting, telling them at the beginning, we're going to get them applied and that we are going to ask some questions so we can be prepared to win. Everybody, have a great Monday.